What's going on, everybody? Danny the Bull here with my good friend Josh from Dirty Degens. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me, Danny. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I'm stoked to be here. You know, last week I said I'm not going to do any more shows on Mondays because I'm just so busy. But then you messaged me. There's no way I wasn't going to show up.
It's a long time coming, brother. And we got our own tag team name right here, Bullish Degeneracy.
I love that. That's amazing.
So funny. But thanks for coming on, man. If anyone doesn't know, Josh has his own channel, Dirty Degens. He helps run one of the biggest channels, Cryptos R Us, and has been around the space for a long time. And yeah, we've streamed together on like the Chuck stuff, but never just a all around crypto one. So I think it's going to be a good one.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited, especially with what you made the title. Like we're guaranteed to have an amazing time. We always do, but it's going to be absolutely epic.
So what are you thinking, brother? Are you excited about this this market?
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked. The whole landscape has changed. Like, don't get me wrong. Back in 2021, I was one of those people that was like, we don't need regulation. We don't need institutions, because really at the core of everything, we don't. But all the regulation that's favorable and these institutions getting in, it just like accelerates everything. So I'm super stoked. I think everything is just looking phenomenal for the future of the space.
It's been such a brutal market because that narrative and that setup has been here since really last November when Trump took office, right? And things went in, things started running and then sold off after he released his meme coin and, he got inaugurated. But I think the expectation was that we would run harder earlier. And so it didn't happen, but I never lost faith that it would happen because it is the perfect setup for a crypto boom. And now we've got the macro coming together. Whether or not Powell cuts rates, he's not going to cut rates in July, but even if he doesn't do it in September, I think the market is pricing all of that in, because even if he doesn't, he's basically a lame duck and there's going to be a sycophant placed in there regardless.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have Powell's job. That's for sure. I will stick with my job of having to figure out what to talk about on the internet forever. Powell's got a really tough job, but all the external pressure and everything, I'm not going to lie. I think that if Powell were to do the type of cut that Trump wants, economic chaos would ensue.
Correct. Yeah.
It would be absolute madness and it would be terrible. So like, I do think he's doing the right thing, but at the same time, like the market wasn't as bad as a lot of people feel. And that's ultimately because not a lot of people are holding enough Bitcoin, because Bitcoin performed absolutely phenomenal, right? Like It was basically up only since November. But alts just continued to bleed, which is where you get into a little bit of portfolio balance and stuff. But I definitely think there's no rate cut this month. And hopefully the next one persuades Trump that he is going to do what he wants, but doesn't.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? You thinking that we get into the full-blown alt season sooner rather than later?
I mean, I think it's happening right before our eyes, right? Over the weekend yesterday, we've got ETH getting up to 3,800 and beyond. If ETH gets to all-time high, it's going to be madness, right? Because you have a lot of projects and a lot of companies that hold their treasury in ETH because they're built on ETH. Right. So seeing ETH down so much, and maybe they accumulated more at these live levels like 2 years ago, they're not really willing to spend that yet. Now, when people start really spending, that's when alt season kicks off, because that's when you have 20,000 articles every day for 2,000 different projects, and just the news is everywhere and people are getting FOMO and it just blows up. Right. That's why they called it top, because it's a blow off top.
Blow off. Yeah, and that's not only in crypto, that's in any market bubble. In the stock market, the end of a bull run typically ends in a blow off top.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this one's going to be crazy, I think. I don't think it'll be the same type of alt season that we've seen in past, every alt going bonkers and things like that. But I definitely think if you pick the right ones, we are going to have a crazy alt season.
We're going to talk about some of the right ones today, some of the ones that we think are the right ones. Mostly for me, they're smaller caps. But before we get into that, you're talking about Ethereum. I feel like all of those companies that felt like that they missed out on Bitcoin treasuries and things like that are now FOMOing into ETH. It's being led by Tom Lee. SharpLink, I think, is that other company. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have. And the institutional flow for ETH has been crazy indeed. So, yeah.
And
But
yeah,
there's
like
a bunch of them.
yeah, and the whole ETH ecosystem is going to blow up as a result of it. Solana hit 194, I think it was at. That whole ecosystem is going to blow up. So good times ahead. Let's see who we got in the crowd. We got B-Dubs in here. Chuck had a good week. Yeah, Chuck, long time coming, man. I think we were up a good 400% from the bottom. So it's good to see. We got Cash Games in the house. What's good, brother? Frank the Tank. Doodle Lover from the Netherlands. What's good? Cash says, I think the cycle will be the same. People tell that it will be different because of institutions and they won't allow Bitcoin to fall. Yet S&P 500 is only institutional money. That's bear markets. Yeah, so that's the other narrative, right? That people say that now that institutions are involved, we're not going to have the same sort of bear markets. What do you think of that?
I think that we'll have an elongated cycle. Now, it ultimately depends. Like, can all these corporations that are setting up treasuries withstand a 20-30% drop like we see even in bull markets, right? Now, if they can't withstand that, then yes, we will see your typical bear market. But I think that they're built different, not in the sense of like, oh, they're smarter or anything like that. They just can't move their money like that often. Right. They have to make a choice and stick with it. Otherwise, they lose the faith of shareholders and all this other stuff. Right. Otherwise, we're saying that ETF holders are going to dictate the trend, which I don't think that's the case. Retail never dictates the trend. So I think that it comes down to if these corporations can actually hold. And I think that they will be able to. So I do think that we see a different type of cycle.
So you think that we go into 2026 for crypto?
Wait, what's that?
So you think we go into 2026 for crypto, that we have an elongated cycle?
Yes.
All right, let's see it, brother. I think that I think we'll actually top as early as September, maybe October. But
Oh, really?
yeah, but I'm open, it's all guesswork. We'll know in hindsight, right? It's
Yeah.
all, theory, but yeah, I think that it's going to get superheated. We're going to, Bitcoin will top and then alts will top after. And then people won't realize it until 2026. But I would love to see it go into 2026. Be much more bullish.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, the discerning factor is one, corporate FOMO. We're not factoring in corporate FOMO. We're kind of seeing it already. There's a Japanese nail salon that just invested like $2.8 million in Bitcoin. This is a nail salon. It's not even like a tech firm or anything like that. So they're already kind of FOMOing. But imagine if Bitcoin's getting up to 250K and you've got more corporate FOMO. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have Trump and his whole family come out and say, I told you so. Now we're going to launch this. And it could like just keep on pushing it further, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. They just bought it. See that Truth Social put two billion, I think, into Bitcoin.
Yeah, crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's just the beginning.
I don't know how anyone faded this cycle when you had the president of the United States with World Financial Liberty Financial or whatever. They're stacking, Ethereum. Not only Ethereum, they're stacking Ondo and all these other tokens. SUI sponsored their crypto ball or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone could have faded this cycle. And we heard all the theories, which were there are too many coins, right? That institutions will only buy Bitcoin and now it won't rotate. There won't be that rotation. And all the others that would never get retail back because they got burnt last cycle. Or that it was a left translated cycle. There were all these theories being floated about, in the first half of the year, but I don't hear any of those theories anymore.
No, the theories come back when everything starts to do well, right? But like when everything's bad, that's typically how it is every year. That's just how people feel when things aren't going well and exploding and everything's a headline that's positive. You get a lot of, oh, it's the end, right? Think about like how many times Fox or CNBC has said Bitcoin's dead. It's like over 200 times,
Yeah.
and it's just asinine. And most of the time they're dead wrong. They're calling the bottom when they're saying Bitcoin is dead. And that's just the mindset that you need to get away from, because that is the like mainstream mindset. That is the retail investor mindset. That investor has no faith. Bitcoin is what, 12 years old now.
Yeah,
A
it's almost a
true
teenager.
Right. And a true traditional investor does not expect their investment to mature for at least 8 years. They wouldn't even consider selling it for 8 years. So why are we so upset over a year and a half of performance? Right.
Yeah, no, people are driven by their emotions for sure. And when you see those narratives hit, it's usually ends up being a buy signal.
That's how I feel. When people are screaming, it's all over, that's when I'm buying. When people are panicking and saying they can't get their coins to the exchange so they can sell, I'm buying. Like,
Yeah. So what are you buying now? Let's go sector by sector. That's how I wanted to kind of do this and break it down. What's your favorite sector this cycle? I know you're a big meme guy, but you're into everything.
I am into a bit of everything. So I give every sector a little bit of love. I like my micro caps, I like my pure degen stuff, but also like I like and everybody's going to laugh at me, but I do believe there are blue chip memes. So I like my blue chip memes. I like my blue chip layer ones, especially the ones that have major connections and like huge government or whatever plays built into them, right? That are yet to really truly develop, but they're there. And also I'm big on AI. I'm big on RWAs, and I like privacy. However, I saw a comment. I do think privacy does well, but there's a certain project I'm waiting to come out that will be my privacy call. So I don't have a privacy call currently. But I love a little bit of everything.
It's one that hasn't launched yet?
Yeah, they will be launching. But imagine if you could take any coin on basically any chain and make it private. Starting with ETH. And so what I could do is I can send you tokens and it's untraceable, completely untraceable. You can't see in my wallet that I sent them, and they can't see in your wallet how you got them.
Yeah. Big narrative, brother.
Big narrative. But that's my big call because honestly, like, Monero's always a good bet and stuff like that. But what kind of returns are you expecting with Monero?
Exactly. That's why I prefer the smaller caps. If you, the small caps in good sectors with good teams, tokenomics and all that stuff. B-Dubs asks about Mask. I like Mask. I like it's fully diluted. I don't love the sector privacy, but I think they've had a nice little run recently. I think that they could do catch a run, but it's not in my favorite sector, privacy.
Yeah. I think ultimately when it comes down to like different sectors, especially like when you're looking at like RWAs and stuff like that, like I like to go bigger just because of trust and validation, right? Like somebody can have an amazing idea. And don't get me wrong, I've got some small RWA plays, but they have to have the infrastructure and the capability to even do these things, right? Otherwise, like if somebody says they want to do things that Ando's doing, are you just going to believe that they're going to be able to do that? Or do they have to show you that they actually can, right? That's how I feel. They have to show that they have that capabilities in place, which not many do. They've got big aspirations ultimately.
That's kind of how the whole crypto space works, right? Aspirations, yep. Especially like a lot of AI stuff. Also, I would say there's tons of like vaporware out there, which is why a lot of people got burnt this cycle because they're too early, right? When you're too early for alts, when the water goes out, you see who's swimming naked and who right. So they run out of runway. They don't have real products or anything like that. And they bottom out and go to zero. But the real ones will stick around.
Right. That's when it goes down to like, did you look into the team enough? Can you have long-term faith in the team? But not only that, do you have long-term faith in your investment so that if it does go down 80%, you still believe in it as long as the team is there pushing? Or are you going to, as Cass with Sass says, let us hands it and, there you go.
So what do you want to start with? AI? You think AI is the biggest?
I do think AI narrative is huge. We currently have NVIDIA that just became the largest company in the world and the biggest ever at $4 trillion valuation. I actually work with some projects that incorporate AI, and the tech is insane. And the deals that are going around are crazy. And yeah, I've got a few AI projects to talk about.
Sure. Do you want to share your screen or no?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Do it, brother. I'll put it up. There you go.
All right. So this is one that's already gone on a little bit of a run here recently, but if you zoom the chart out, it looks pretty bad, right? And that's good. We want that. We want it to look bad because in the grand scheme of things, it's got a lot of room it can run. However, in the last month, it is up, nearly 400%. It got up to 5.52 million. I was calling this in my community around 600,000, saying it bottomed out. This is SUAI. So currently at 4.1 million fully diluted value. What they are is the first and currently only AI agent launch platform built on SUI, right? And I love SUI. I love Say. And those are like two of my biggest layer ones this year for this cycle. And the fact that this is the only launchpad available on SUI, I think that's a huge narrative for it. They've continued to build, even if you zoom out throughout all this slump, they've continued to build, make partnerships and everything like that. And now SUI is ripping again, and they're ripping with them. So I'm pretty confident in SUAI. They've got sex listings already. They're on all the big dexes in the ecosystem. They're still partnering with more projects in the SUI ecosystem and other AI projects in the grander scheme of things. And also they're looking to expand to some other ecosystems too.
What's that all-time high on that?
The all-time high was around 60 million, 61.
61. So it's a good, what's it at now? 4 million?
4.1 million. Yep.
Nice. It's got about 15x off the top.
Yep. So good little run up there. That's potential, especially when the AI narrative picks back up, right? SUI's still going to be hot. That's not going to go away unless something crazy happens. But, so yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in SUAI for various number of factors. I'm not going to bore anybody with all the technicalities and everything you can do. It's a SUAI agent launch platform, and they're tradable and all that, but you can dig into it yourself if you want to learn the ins and outs, because I'm sure we have a ton of things to go over.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Definitely. Well, I'll put them on my watch list.
Yeah. And I see B-Dubs asked, he's not asking about this one specifically, but you can find their best liquidity even just on these pages here, or you can go to something like Dex Screener, and you can look at the different liquidity pools to find where it's the thickest. But typically somewhere that's got the most volume is going to be your thickest liquidity pool. So see this in this example.
Yeah. Good question, B-Dubs. A lot of people don't really think about liquidity. Do you stay away from things with low liquidity?
It depends. That's very situational. If I'm buying a $20,000 coin and it's got 3K liquidity, I'm fully expecting that. But if I'm buying something that's 100 million and it's got, $1 million liquidity pool, I probably don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
So it really depends. Also, if something is on an exchange that I have access to, I would rather buy it from the exchange than the DEX, even though I prefer to be on chain, but that's just because I get the best spread typically.
Yeah. Good tips. Good tips. What else you got, brother?
So another one, now we talked earlier about like RWAs and how a lot of RWA projects don't have the backbone to necessarily back up what they're promising, right? Now AI, a lot of that is the same. People are very, hopeful, optimistic about what they can build and what they're going to be able to do. Well, why not invest in the infrastructure itself? I've got to refresh my page, of course. But this is Solidius AI Tech. The ticker is AI Tech whenever it decides to load.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with AI Tech. I have a bag.
Awesome. So you already know everything I'm going to say. So why do you love AI Tech?
Yeah, just because they hit the narrative. I mean, they have a launch pad. They have SaaS, software as a service. They have like all the AI tools, AI agent play. So it's kind of like they hit the whole narrative. They have the building out a warehouse or whatever out in Europe to provide power for computing power. So it's good. It hits all the narratives in AI.
Exactly. It's got every single thing, and they're going to own their own hardware, which is huge, and that's going to make their capabilities so much higher. But since you know about that and you just broke it down so much better than I can, I'll move on to the next, because this is more of a gem. Right? You wanted the small caps, the more promising ones. AI Tech is already a $80 million market cap. Like, come on. Why am I even bringing it up? But Botify.
You're a true Degen, brother. That's right. Too high.
It's too high. Now, like I said, don't get me wrong. I like the blue chips too.
We're here for bullish degeneracy.
Yes. And that's what we're going to have. Now, Botify, we're going a little bit off trend here, because this is actually built on Solana, But Botify is a ChatGPT for creating AI agents that can integrate with other platforms. So like imagine you want your Twitter account to respond to every big influencer every time they post, the moment they post, right? Because you want to be seen or whatever. All you do is you go to this AI agent platform, you tell it what you want it to do, and it builds it for you. It's that simple, right? And I've built them, and it works extremely simply. And they're onboarding KOLs, they're onboarding other projects to utilize them, and it's all really interesting because you, as a user, can create an AI agent, and if people like it, they can actually rent it from you. So, and you can set the price. You're like, this AI agent is so good, I'm going to charge $300 a day. You can do that. And you take like 95% of the income. So not only can you create cool tools, but everybody has to pay for the tools in Botify. And then part of the money or part of the token goes back to buyback and burn and stuff like that, right? So you've also got a little bit of a loop in there, which is great. And it's got a max supply. So when you implement buybacks and burns, it has a better impact on tokens that have an unlimited supply, right? Like Solana or VeChain and VeThor and all those that are very inflationary, but have heavy burn mechanisms built in, or even ETH now. So I think this is a really good one. They did have a solid run up already a couple times. They got up to about 38 million. And now they've been falling down since they got back up to about 27 million. And they're basically bottomed out right now. So this is somewhere that I'm once again looking to pick them up. I know also because I have a little bit of insider information from working with Cryptos R Us that they're about to run another huge marketing campaign. So,
let's go. What's the market cap now?
The market cap is currently 5.4 million.
Very nice. So it's like an 8x, 7x, 8x off their local top.
Yes, sir. I've got one more for AI. And this is a little bit of a mixture, right? So in decentralized science, it's also going to be a lot of AI, right? Because they're using AI and algorithms in order to come up with the cures and all of that, right? It's a very complex space, but it's basically AI and decentralized science is how all of this is built. Well, this is Axon DAO. They're currently at a FDV of 97 million, but their market cap is 17 million. They're arguably one of the biggest decentralized health projects, but they're also heavily AI. That's why I put them in the AI category. Now, I am under NDA, so I can't say everything, but some of the things that we said about Solidius AI tech are also about to become true for Axon.
What's the market cap on Axon?
17.4 mil.
And what chain?
So they're on ETH, and their all-time high is 150 million. And again, they're another one that's basically bottoming out here. They're basically at an all-time low. So even better. Not to mention, they also just onboarded Tristan Thomas, which is a professional athlete that's won, NBA titles and stuff like that. He's really big in health science and stuff. So he's a big brand ambassador for Axon DAO. That just happened a couple weeks ago, and he's going to start traveling all around the world, talking at conferences, not just crypto conferences, like health science conferences and stuff like that, about how they can utilize Axon DAO. This ring that I'm also wearing is also an Axon DAO ring. Basically, you own your data. You choose if you want your data to be used for the different platforms that they can integrate it to, and you get paid for it. Whereas my Apple Watch, they just take my data, right, and do whatever the hell they want with it.
So what does the ring do?
So basically sleep tracking, steps, oxygen, whatever this does essentially.
I thought that was your wedding ring, brother.
No, I'm left-handed, so it'd be over here.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I think they're a really exciting project. They have a lot of awesome stuff going on. I'm also, obviously, full disclosure, I hold some, but I'm going to start doing spaces with them and stuff like that too once a month. They're really cool guys, and they're doing a lot of really awesome stuff. So yeah, I definitely think they're one to look out for, and that's actually building something useful. And like I said, they've got that secret announcement. If you think back to what I said, that was really important for AI tech, they've got that coming, which is crazy.
How long have they been around for?
Well, they launched in the beginning of 2024, but the company itself, they've been around for about 12 years.
Okay. Have you heard of XMW Morphware?
Morphware, I don't believe I have.
Pretty cool project. Check it out. Yeah, they do some Bitcoin mining. They have stuff set up, and it's revenue generating, um, and big into AI agents. They've been around since I think 2022, but the token just launched end of 2024. I think it's at like 25. It just had a nice little pump of about 30%, but all-time high was 100 million. I think around 25 million now.
Nice, not too bad at all.
So what's your?
I'll definitely check that out.
Check it out. Yeah, it's a good one. What's your second favorite sector?
Well, I mean, memes is my first favorite, but I'll say, RWA. I think that in terms of like serious sectors, I think that AI and RWAs are the biggest plays for this cycle, right? And I've got a couple RWAs I can pull up. I'm very particular on RWAs, and a lot of them I think are like your bigger ones, like obviously Ondo, even Injective. Injective is going to list. All my pages died for some reason. What's going on?
It's your Wi-Fi.
I'm not on Wi-Fi. Injective is they're working with like the NASDAQ and stuff like that to basically onboard commodities on chain, right? So like you got NASDAQ working with Injective. That's huge. You've got Ondo working with the US government. That's huge. But if you want something a little bit more degenerate, why not something like freaking Refresh? Why not something that is a tried and true brand that's been around for absolutely ever and is bringing their brand on chain onto one of the most popular chains in all of crypto, which is SUAI. And this is going to kill me. It's Delorean DMC. There we go. Come on.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Delorean.
Yeah. So obviously you've got years of history in the project itself, or the company itself, right? Successful products. You've got a loyal following. You've got brand recognition from movies, etc. But the reason why it's an RWA is because when people want to reserve their car, this is how they're going to have to do it. It's all going to be on chain. And if you want to sell your reservation, you can do that on chain. If you want to earn points through a DMC loyalty program, it's all going to be on chain, right? And you can accumulate them. You can transfer them. You can spend them on merch. You can spend them on a car. You can spend them on electricity. Like they're trying to do everything basically on chain, which I think is super interesting. And they also claim that they're already talking with like other major brands to implement DMC. And not only that, they're being talked to by like other major car brands about how the hell are you doing that? And how do we do it? And how do we get involved? Right. So imagine if you've got like Toyota and they come out and they're like, oh, we've been working with DMC and we're going on chain. That's a big nod to DMC, but I think they've got a car coming out. They've got prototypes on the road and stuff like that now, but they're going to start marketing heavily the reservation process and all of that coming up soon. And that's going to be a big impact on DMC. Now, this is a very new coin and it's like basically right around launch price. So, it's over here at 15.4 million market cap. They've got a bunch of marketing campaigns going on. I think just last night it went live on Kraken, which was the first US exchange. So like, it's still not even 24 hours available on a US exchange. So there's still a lot to come for it, I think.
How long have they been building this out?
They've been building it out. So actually I've known about them coming and launching for like a year and a half, 2 years, because they were getting Karate Combat sponsorships to try and like build up the hype. Right. So as far as I know, about like probably like a year and 3/4 of a year, 1.75 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw DMC recently. A lot of people have been bringing it up on stream.
Have they?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, I think. They're trying to do something very unique. Now, whether or not that works, I don't know. But hey, that's why we call this a Degen pick, right?
Yeah. And they're on SUAI. So I think a lot of people just following the ecosystem and, tracking like what's coming out and things like that. SUAI, SUAI had a $10 billion market cap now or something?
No, it's probably around like a 7 or so. Oh, wow. No, it's way bigger. I thought, why did I think it was so much lower? Yeah, it's at 13.6. I was way off. Sorry about that. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. SUI is kind of like this cycle's soul.
That's how I'm looking at it. And even the communities on SUI are a lot more welcoming. And they're a lot healthier. Whereas if you look at the ones on Solana, it's a lot more of that PvP mindset. So I'm putting
Yeah.
more of my focus on SUI. Also, let's be honest, it's a whole lot easier to navigate.
Yeah. And SUI, I mean, and is more far along than Solana was at this time in last cycle. There was nothing really happening in the Solana ecosystem, right? When did Bonk come out? I think towards the end of last cycle,
Yeah,
right?
basically.
Yeah.
And there's not even like many major plays in the ecosystem. If you think about major plays in the ecosystem, it's like, I guess Pengu, but that's technically considered a meme coin. Then it's like Radium and Jupiter. What else are you?
Well, Zeus is not the meme coin. Are you familiar with Zeus?
Yeah, Zeus Protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That popped hard today. That's up about 20%.
Oh, nice.
Because they announced a staking reward system, I think, where people can stake Solana for Bitcoin.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
liquid Bitcoin staking programs or platforms and stuff like that. That's another thing. Like Swee's doing that. I know Solana is. Say's doing that. Injective's doing that. Like, I think that's really big for a lot of these major layer ones. That's gonna, like, all these liquid staking platforms, I think, are good buys when it comes to like DeFi, as long as they're secure. Like, don't just buy anyone, right?
Yeah, of course. What else you got, brother?
My other RWA project. Now, this is a meme coin that went into RWA. You know about it.
Oh, of course,
but that's big.
Red.
Yeah, Big Red. I can't bring up RWA without bringing up Big Red. And Big Red is basically working to revolutionize an entire industry. Horse racing is big all around the world. I wasn't a fan until Big Red got into it. But what they're doing is basically fractionalizing ownership of horses and stables and breeding and all the things that come with running a stable, right? Currently, they've got over $1.5 million in horses, and they're looking to add like 15 more horses in the next couple months. Not only that, they're currently on Avalanche, which is not the most bullish chain in all of crypto. Not a whole lot goes on there, but they're moving to Sui. So that's also big. Or not, well, they're looking at moving to Sui. They might end up going somewhere else. I don't put,
Not confirmed.
I'm actually helping them with that move. But yeah, so that's the hope anyways. But I'm very bullish on them, not because, full disclosure, they do sponsor my show, but that has nothing to do with it. They've sponsored my show for so long because I believe in the project, their vision, the team continues to work. They've got a lot of really exciting announcements coming up that are locked to whale holders. So again, I can't share, but a lot of really cool stuff going on. So I like it. I like the stonk.
Yeah, there you go. Do you like Rio Network or Devbe? Are you familiar?
So I'm a little bit familiar with them, and I do. Yeah, I don't dislike them. I just don't spend a lot of time on them, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, those are my two biggest plays for RWA. Devbe particular, take a look at, because they have patented technology. They have a very solid team of people from traditional finance. They got a guy on there from BlackRock who helps them make partnerships and get TradFi money in. And they have patented technology that supposedly no one else has, and they have a partnership that supposedly is with one of the biggest players in TradFi. There's speculation that it's NASDAQ, that they have a Dev exchange coming out probably end of the year. And rumor has it that NASDAQ or whoever their partner is helped them create this Dev exchange that's coming out, which is going to be, trade real world assets and things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Well, I guess I can just pull it up.
Yeah,
I know I've seen you post about it before, so I'm familiar-ish with it, but this is the right one, right? DEVBE.
Yeah, they build blockchains for TradFi. So they just partnered with a French bank, one of the oldest French banks. They're at a $38 million market cap, I want to say.
Yeah, they're at 39 million. So no, that's awesome. And hey, that's great. Like, I'm definitely going to check them out. People that are respected by traditional finance. Again, it goes back to the little thing like, hey, if they're going to be here, may as well profit off of them coming, right?
Pump our bags, brother.
Right. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, this is the cycle for that narrative, right? I love RWA plays AI. Um, let's talk about B-Dubs is asking for a dedicated AI agent play. XMW is a good one for AI agents. You mentioned SUAI.
Yeah, SUAI and Botify, those are both dedicated AI agent plays. And if you want to go more like stable, also virtuals is down pretty low. They're
What
they're
are they at a
on.
three billion now?
Are they that big still?
I think
No,
so.
1.2 billion. Yeah, they're down
Okay,
quite a bit.
1.2.
Uh, yeah, and they haven't really recovered very well. Like I guess a bit, but they're still back. They're grinding back up, right? So I still like virtuals. It's just they're not a degen play. They're small. Theirs might be like a 4 or 5x there. They're on like 11 or 12 chains. So that's what they got in their favor.
Yeah, how big do you think market cap wise some of these things get this cycle? Like in the 'cause these are relatively new sectors for crypto, right? So we saw some gaming projects come out last cycle. Gala went to 4 billion. You know, Sandbox it's in the metaverse slash gaming, whatever. That went to I think like 8, and Axie went nuts. I think Axie top 20.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen a run for AI and RWA. How high do you think these things get? The best
Well, I
one.
mean, I think we can see something like Ondo at like 50 billion. You know, Ondo can go absolutely insane. But like when it's these smaller ones like virtuals, maybe virtuals tops out at like 5 or 8 billion. Um, the like even smaller ones like SUAI, it's like niche on a certain chain. Maybe it can go to like 150, 200 million, at like a respectable target. I think it ultimately depends on you've got to look at the project, their team, and their experience. That's when you really have to dig into how experienced is the team. Can they market a project so well that it's going to go to $20 billion, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of it's just experience. You either have someone that knows how to market, or you have someone that's trying to figure it out and using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
this is
when
true.
like I like to look into like LinkedIn teams and all that.
So you do that. So is that how your research is done? Looking going deep into the teams.
Yes,
Nice. What are
I
red
feel like
flags
it's
for
important.
you?
Um, just weird stuff, or from like like online universities, or like so with like well, it's more about you want more good flags. It's not that something is necessarily a bad flag, but like you want a buildup of good flags, right? Like somebody that's had successful exits, or like ran big campaigns or big initiatives, right? Or spent a long time working directly under the CMO of Nike, right? Like
Yeah.
you want like a solid history there to show that they actually know their shit, not somebody that like job hopped every year and a half, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about pick a sector, brother.
Well, I have memes left, at least pulled up. Otherwise, just throw something at me and I can talk about just about anything.
Let's talk about gaming. Do you think before we go to memes, do you think gaming comes back strong? You know, it was a front runner end of 2023 heading into 2024. Gaming was kind of leading in terms of altcoins. Maria went to 150. Naka, I think, crossed 200. Do you think gaming comes back super strong?
Not super strong, but I think that the strong ones will prevail. Is a
Yeah.
better way to put it. The biggest problem with a lot of the gaming plays is that they overpromise and heavily under deliver, right? It goes back to that, like, can you believe they can actually do what they say they can do? Look at Grand Theft Auto, right? It's supposed to be like the first quadruple 4 game, or quadruple A game, right? Which is like a made up thing. It's usually like triple A and all that, but it's taken them like 11 years to build it.
Yeah.
So like these companies that come out and say like, oh, we're going to launch a triple A game in a year and a half, they're full of shit.
The
You know?
gaming industry is tough, and yeah, you can. It takes hundreds of millions of dollars to make a AAA game, and then there's still no guarantee that it'll take off or catch on with people.
Right. You can look at like the Off the Grid and the other one that just launched too. but they both did okay. But a lot of people then ended up complaining about the game. There's bugs in the game. There's all these different issues, and you launched a bad product. That's the problem. A big problem I have with the gaming industry, and especially crypto gaming right now, is like everything is a beta, but they're expecting $1 billion valuation.
Yeah. Like,
you're still a beta and you still have problems at every corner we turn. Then you do a launch and you have to take it down for 8 hours, and like you're just not there, so obviously, like, I do have faith in some gaming platforms and gaming projects, but a lot of them are the similar as like what you are. I love Medicaid. There's some smaller ones that are going to release that I'm hopeful of. Like, I love DeFi Kingdoms, but their tokens have been struggling for a long time because they're hyperinflationary. So there's just a lot of
the tokenomics suck on a lot of gaming projects.
Exactly, and that's the problem they run into, because like, do you want to make everything limited so it has a cap supply? Like, that's not how you breed a good economy. Like, the amount of economics that has to go into a true decentralized game is just mind blowing,
Yeah. Tell me why you like Medicaid.
Well, I think that something that's more of a platform is better when it comes toward a gaming project. Trying to sell one thing is hard. Trying to sell a bundle things is much easier, right? Not only that, they've figured out a good way to market. You've got history there. I think it was really smart that they unpaired with ETH through the bear market. That helped them a ton, and very transparent as well. But the other thing that they have going for them is the hyper casual approach. Not everybody wants something hard to pick up, a gameplay loop. A lot of people want something that they go take a dump and play for 10 minutes, right? Like, get away from the wife and try to get this high score, right? So like, the hyper casual aspect is not for everybody, but it's for a lot of people. So I think that's good.
Yeah, and I think they know themselves, right? They're not trying to be a AAA game or over promising on what they're going to create. They know their lane and they're staying with it, and they can be very successful there. And I think that they have been. And they're a project that has under promised and over delivered in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And of course, the cherry on top of it all is the app chain and how they're going to be included in, Coinbase and the base wallet and everything like that. That's just like, and then there's this,
Yeah. I love that they have these catalysts lined up, because that's important also for a bull run, right? When everything's popping off, to have catalysts lined up that can get attention and create enthusiasm and all that. So they're definitely well set up.
Yeah. But there are other like games I play. Like, I play Sunflower Land. Their token's actually been doing rather decent. I think I can pull it up actually. Sunflower. Yeah. No, that's not the right one. It can't be the right one. Well, if I can't find it, I can't find it. Yeah, but it's like a Farmville, right? That's decentralized, and you own everything. You can buy anything, you can sell anything, So that's kind of cool. Their token launched a couple months ago. You can basically gain money every day just from playing. Like,
I mean, gaming makes sense as a natural fit for crypto, especially with owning your in-game assets.
Totally. Yeah. Like, I spent probably $15,000-$20,000 on League of Legends skins over the course of 10, 11 years. At the end of the day, I had to sell my entire account, and not to mention the risks that went with that, because I couldn't sell them piece by piece or anything like that. And at the end of the day, I only got like $3,000, because they also have a slew of risks that come with me selling it to them, right?
Did you do it through escrow or?
Yeah, I used like some escrow online service that you did a transfer through and stuff, but it was years ago now.
But even like, the Fortnite stuff, like my son has been playing since season 1. So he's got like those OG skins and things like that aren't in circulation anymore. To be able to, sell those would be, game changing.
Yeah, totally. And like, a lot of it's because they don't see the value in that, but hey, you can also put a 5% royalty fee on there or whatever.
Yeah, you think they're waking up to it? You think there needs to be a tipping point where, an aha moment for them?
People are definitely waking up to it. The problem is how you project it, right? A a lot of people play games for an escape from reality. They don't want to make it a monetary thing, right? So if you project it that it's like all monetary and it's all ownership and everything like that, people aren't going to want it. Like look at Ubisoft. Ubisoft's tried to do it for like 3 years now. They've released like 12 different NFT lines and all of them fail miserably. So I think a lot of it's about the approach and the direction, but it goes to show you that there are massive game development companies that are looking this direction.
Yeah. Are you familiar with MLC?
Mother, yeah, I think so.
It's My Lovely
Yeah.
Planet, right?
Yeah, I am familiar with that.
Yeah, they've done pretty well.
Yeah, I actually meant to play the game, and I think I wasn't able to get in or something like that. With games, I always like to play them before I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm familiar, but not super.
Illuvium went nuts last cycle, but that's one of those. I don't know if they're still like building.
Well, Olivium, I know them pretty well. I also know the founder. But yeah, they were one of the ones that did the overpromise and extremely underdeliver, right? They wanted to launch this big Pokemon-like game, and it took them so long that instead they had to launch an auto chess game. Nobody wanted to play that, but now they actually do have working products. They're out there at conferences and people can play the whole game and stuff like that. Part of the problem though is that they moved over to AIIXBT, and a lot of people don't understand the AIIXBT pass system, and it's complicated. So now they have a new barrier to entry. So they've got a product, but now it's a pain in the ass to use their stuff.
Yeah, people have to choose wisely, choose the chain wisely, because things from cycle to cycle, the technology changes so fast. You know, if you were talking to people at the end of last cycle, it was everything's going to be on Matic.
Yeah.
Now everything moved from Matic and moved to base and whatever. So they really have to choose wisely.
Yeah, and like I'm extremely crypto savvy, and when I had to use AIIXBT here, like even I had used it like a year ago, and then a couple months ago I was playing this game called Treeverse, which is built on AIIXBT, and getting AIIXBT tokens so I could buy this stupid $5 pack took me way too long. It took me like 45 minutes to figure it out, because the problem wasn't that I could just bridge there. I couldn't bridge into AIIXBT. So, and also you don't have AIIXBT available on US exchanges. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell I can get AIIXBT, and it took forever.
Yeah. Let's do meme coins.
Well, I've got a slew of those.
Let's go. Now we're getting into your wheelhouse, brother. And now we're getting into some bullish degeneracy.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie. My meme coin picks have simmered down a little bit. I haven't gone hyper crazy on like the really degenerate micro cap ones. I still have ones I like, but the thing is, I didn't want to bring them here because like they're in a holding pattern, right? They haven't started to move yet. So it really determines like if they wake up a little bit. But I do also have some that are at points where I think they're going to explode, right? For example, AIIXBT. This is, if you marry AI and meme coins, perfect. It's already at a $213 million market cap. However, its all-time high is in 2.43 billion, right? So it's been massive. Now, I think that it can actually surpass that all-time high. I think that we could see like a $5 billion market cap here. But the thing is it's currently, I should have pulled it up on TradingView because I actually have it all drawn out, but it's at basically an all-time low. It is up 35%, but to get back to all-time high, you've got like a 300% run there, or not all-time high, to get like back up to like this level here. Oh no, it's right here. Get back to the prior high. You've got like a 2,200% or 220% gain. But I think it's after that, you have a lot of price discovery mode because that's how it ran before. So the ceiling for it to run's really high. If AI narrative is hot, AIIXBT is still there. They still have their hedge fund that they almost blew up. That's all ran by AI. And it's just a stupid narrative, right? So I like that. Another one that I like that's also meme and AI is AIIXBT. Now, this is the first AI agent to come out of the Virtuals Launchpad, and it's essentially viewed as a meme coin because all it does is cover news in the space, and basically answered questions based on projects. You tag it on Twitter, it shoots you a response, and everybody's happy. But it's one that performs extremely well when AI is hot. So it's currently a 165 million all-time high of like what it was under $1 billion. I switched it to 750 million or so. So I think a lot of room to run there. But I like those two. They're kind of like AI, kind of meme. You know, if you're bullish on AI and you're bullish on memes, why aren't you bullish on AIIXBT and AI16Z? And plus, their names are similar, so why not? But obviously, I'm a big Chuck fan. I love Chuck. I still think Chuck's going to $1. Yes, Chuck to the buck, bro. Fully agree. But other base memes are also good. Now, Toshi's one of my favorites on base outside of Chuck. Chuck is my #1 favorite, but I'm really bullish on Toshi because this thing pumps hard. This candle right here is actually from when it got launched on on Coinbase. So just at the beginning of this year, it launched on Coinbase, and I called this pump. I didn't even know it was getting launched on Coinbase, but I'm like, this thing's about to rip. It was at like a huge consolidation. It broke out of the wedge, and I'm like, this thing's going to go crazy. And then that night, they launched that tomorrow. It was being launched on Coinbase, and I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't have a crystal ball, but sometimes it works. There's still one of the few meme coins available on Coinbase. Not only that, especially when you boil it down to base memes, right? Base ecosystem. And Coinbase actually has lower fees for projects you're buying on base. So it's going to attract even more people. And they're actually one of the oldest memes on base as well. Yeah, so they've got that going for them too.
Yeah. Do you think they'll take Brett? Overtake?
I still don't like Brett. So yes, I do.
Do you not like Brett because of the bundled thing?
The bundled thing, and I just can't stand the boys club, man.
Yeah. It got so overheated.
Yeah, it's not funny to me. None of the characters are really funny to me. All the derivatives of them all just, I don't like the boys club.
Yeah.
And it's hard to ignore, the blue chips like Bonk. I won't even bring it up, but Bonk's huge. It's been huge. It's gonna run again. They've got so much money they throw around everywhere. They're building that stadium with Karate Combat. Their name's going to be on it.
Are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Karate Combat's building a stadium, and Bonk is working with them to build it. So it's going to be actually Bonk Stadium, and so you're going to have numerous events a month that are going to be ran there. Look, once it gets up to all-time high, it's just off to the moon because it's at a
market cap on Bonk now.
2.75 billion, and it's got an all-time high of 3.7.
Yeah, Saga phone's coming out. Do you think that they'll throw some on there again or no?
Yeah, they probably will.
Did you order one?
I think I ordered 2.
Nice. Yeah, I got one coming.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, if you missed the first one, how are you going to miss the second one?
No. Yeah, I got the first one, and yeah, I bought it. I was like, I got it on like the last day right before it sold out. And then by the time it got to me, they were selling on eBay for like 5x the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was like that one NFT that was on there. I forget the name of it now, but it went to like $2,000. I should have sold. I waited.
Was it a Pudgy Penguin? Did they
no.
didn't? Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't send Pudgy Penguins on it.
No, it was another one. Shit. I forget the name of it. It'll come to me, but it went down, but I made a few $100 on it, but it went out as high as $2,000.
That's crazy though. Super crazy. Yeah. For the basic reasons, like, it's basically like, I think of it as like Solana's like flagship meme, right? Even though I'm not super bullish on Solana, I am bullish on Solana. I'm just more bullish on like SUAI and say, Solana memes command the space. There's not a whole lot of Ethereum memes up there. So that's why I've got like one more Solana meme. Popcat's extremely predictable. It runs in waves. It's currently working on that wave back up. It'll probably, jump up to like this 88-cent level, 80 cents, 90 cents, or like 80 to $1, and it'll come back down. And then maybe we'll be around like September, and it'll have that blow off top that you're mentioning where we'll see a new all-time high for it. But if you're looking for like steady gains in a meme coin, I like PopCap for that reason. It's easy to.
Do you buy the big caps?
I do. When they're bottoming out, that's when I buy them because they're extremely predictable. I called this wave here that we're seeing, this run up from 13 cents to like 61 cents. I called that on my stream too. I'm like, Popcat's bottoming out here. Buy, you know.
Yeah.
And then it had like in a matter of a couple days, it had a stupid run up like 200, 300%, but it kept going further. So I like them because they're predictable.
Yeah.
Now one that is not as predictable, but is easily my favorite big cap meme is Ticker Bitcoin. I've got a love-hate relationship with Ticker Bitcoin. I'm also good friends with basically the guy that runs it. But I actually found it way before I even knew him. I found Ticker Bitcoin at 800K. So,
wow.
And I was like, this is so stupid. That's why it's going to work, because its name is Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. Like, it's so stupid.
What's it at now?
It's currently at 116 mil. It has gotten up to like, I want to say, 300 mil. But the community is fierce and has a lot of connections. And not only that, you know, they might have 20,000 messages a day in their Telegram.
Wow.
Like they raid more than any project I've ever seen them raid. Every single post somebody does is rated. Like you don't even have to put it in raid chat or anything like that. Like it is rated.
Yeah.
And they also have their NFT line where those NFTs are like an ETH a piece each too.
Wow.
They did get up to like 3 ETH, and those were free NFTs that were airdropped to holders.
Well, that's pretty amazing. What do you think of SPX?
I like SPX. I didn't pull that one up because it's at all-time high. But
I know.
I like it. There's another one too that somebody brought up to me a couple days ago that's like Doge, and I like it.
Someone in the comments here mentioned Doge.
Oh, did they? Yeah, I mean, it's him that no, it's definitely not who brought it up to me. But this one's been doing really well. I looked at it first like last week sometime. Man, it must have been like, yeah, it must have been like down here. And I was like, oh, I like this. It looks like it'll do well, whatever. And now it keeps on running. But apparently it's supposed to be like a SPX copy. And it seems interesting. The website's just as cancer. Like not as cancer, but it's like just as corny and whatever. The SPX website's actually really bad. But hey, at a 77 mil market cap, it's doing pretty well. But I like SPX. I think it's like gonna be a blue chip, I guess you could say. I don't know really how far it can go because there's not really any true. I don't know. Like it's weird because you see its community, but like nobody really talks about it either when it comes to like bigger accounts and stuff like that. It's like it feels so grassroots, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, Will Clemente said he bought it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, last week.
I stopped following Will when he got so cocky, but I always liked his stuff back in like 2021, 2020.
He's a smart guy. But yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lagged out.
What's that?
I lagged out for a second there.
Yeah. Now SPX chart looks clean. You know, maybe if they get a Coinbase listing or something, it could you know, get up there. But I think they have, I don't know, man. I see like expectations of like crazy numbers from some of the, you know, some SPX people.
Yeah. I mean, I think they like one of them, a lot of them are throwing out the 69 billion and stuff like that, right? Because it plays into the brand, but I don't think it'll go that crazy. Maybe if it gets some crazy exchange listings, because as you can see, like its biggest exchange is Mexi and Gate.io, which are like arguably two of the worst exchanges to be listed on. There's got to be a reason why they're not getting listed on Binance, why they're not getting listed on like KuCoin even, or well, they are on KuCoin, but like, you know, your Krakens, Geminis, Bybit, Binance, etc. Even Coinbase, sure. But like, there's got to be a reason because even with the volume that they have, they should be getting these listings for free.
Yeah, I know. It's similar to Brett, right? When Toshi got listed, didn't Dog and Me get listed ahead of Dog and Me get listed on Coinbase?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Way ahead of Brett. When they were at a small market cap at the time, relative to where they went. There's got to be a reason, right?
Yeah, there has to be a reason. And I haven't really dug into it because like it was one of the ones I supported, but I don't know. It always kind of did its own thing, and I liked it. But yeah, there's got to be a reason. Maybe I should dig into that one day. But I'm kind of over like expose content.
Beat Up's asking, is Pengu a good high end meme play?
I like Pengu. Pengu's about to be in price discovery. They've been running really hard here recently. They're finally about to be over their launch price. Yep, they're about to be over. They're over their launch price.
That's an accomplishment because they came out, they were airdropped, the tokens, right?
Yep.
And, which leads to, hard sell off because it's free money for people.
Yeah. But in the matter of the last like month, it's ran from 937 million to 230 billion. So like it's had a huge run up in like the last month. But I think I think that Luca has cracked the code, right? He bought the project when it was a fail project, and he put Pudgy Penguins in every major store across the world.
Yeah.
Created a really strong brand awareness. And I think he cracked the code. I know people with kids whose the parents don't even know anything about crypto, and their kids love Pudgy Penguins. Their gifts have billions of views. So the brand awareness is there. I think that the sky's the limit for Pudgy Penguins. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 50 billion Pudgy.
Yeah, it is really well executed in terms of bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3.
Yeah. When you have a project that says that they want a global brand, I point them to Pudgy Penguins and say, that's what you need to do then. If you want to be a Web3 project that goes global, you need to do what they did, basically.
Yeah.
How they do it.
Yeah. I think Miggles just wants to do that, right? I mean, I've listened to them in spaces and whatnot. I've been on spaces with them. And, I think they want to do that. But it's probably easier said than done.
Oh, totally. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to having connections. Your connections open up doors. And if you have a high net worth network, then it's potential. But you have to have that network. Otherwise, all these doors that you need opened are going to be slammed in your face.
Yeah.
But I think that's about enough of the bigger memes, right? Like, you're bored of the big ones.
Yeah, that's not very degen, brother.
No, it's not. But I do love SUAI. So I'm going to bring up a couple that are on SUAI because why not? First one's Lofi. Everybody that knows SUAI knows Lofi, right? It's currently the biggest meme on SUAI. And hey, I've met the team. Great guys. I met them at SUAI Base Camp. Cool guys. Their merch is awesome. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. Great project. I think that they will continue to be the biggest meme on SUAI for a long time. Also, it was cool when Cetus had the hack. The Lofi team is actually who stepped in and ran like the 24-hour spaces.
Yeah.
Trying to like keep people informed on the SUAI ecosystem and stuff like that. But one that people overlook very often is Blub. Blub is the very first meme coin on SUAI. And they're still quite small, 13 million, but the team has never gone anywhere. The community's never gone anywhere. And they just continue to do little fish things in a fish world, which what can you really expect from a little Blub, right? But they have been quite big in the past. They've gotten upwards of 90 million. So I think that's bullish.
Strong community.
Yeah, strong community. A lot of good stuff there. They've got a large number of holders too. So that's positive. They're coming up nicely off of this bottom. Like, they were down towards like 5 million market cap. So in the past couple weeks here, or last month, they've done a solid 2x. And that's what we want to see from these small memes. Like, think about Chuck, right? Like, sure, it bottomed out. It fell like a lot of altcoins and memes did, but how does it recover? When everything else is recovering, is it sitting there stagnant? Or does it actually recover in multitudes? Like, Chuck is up like 4x from the bottom. That's strong. That's what I want to see, especially in these older ones. Did everybody give up and walk away? That's ultimately what you're trying to gauge there.
Yeah, which 99% of the time, that's what happens, right? Most of them don't withstand that huge sell-off and then the bear market that we've been through in terms of alts.
Yeah, totally. And so that's what I'm currently evaluating for a lot of smaller memes. But like, other than that, I didn't pull up any other memes. Like, there are better ones, or not better. There are other ones like on SUAI right now. A lot of the theme is like the Pokemon based stuff, because everybody thinks that a Pokemon based game or something like that's coming to SUAI network due to the partnership that one of them have. I forget the name of the project, but one of them does have a partnership with Nike, whatever, who develops like Pokemon Go and shit.
Yeah.
So there's a big like Pokemon trend. So there's like I mean, I can just pull it quick. It's like Pokesui on Sui. That's not bad. I'm not big on derivatives, but this Fartcoin Sui has been doing okay. I'm just not big on derivatives. I didn't mean to sort it like that. Hippo came out of nowhere, but Axel I was big on, but it kind of fell down and never recovered. The team gave up. Suimon, that's what I was talking about. Suimon seems promising and interesting. It's like a parody on Pokemon. Kind of like a slow grinder here. If it wants to load, I understand. But it hasn't been doing bad. So it's not very old either, from June on the 4th. But like, hey, you have a good run up, big come down, higher, higher high, and then big come down, which is a lower high, and then it's coming back up. It already made a higher high. So hey, maybe we see something promising out of it. It's kind of too early to know. The whole Pokemon theme kind of died, but they've got like the whole Giga Chat and Pokemon that's like going on. I don't know. It's a little bit funny, a little bit interesting. I think that the Pokemon narrative like resonates well with a lot of people too, because let's be honest, if we're millennials, you probably played Pokemon at some point in your life.
It's the biggest brand money wise.
Totally. And then I like to like pay attention to just change. I like Say a lot. There's one that's like Saiyans. That's a meme coin on Say. I like that. Yeah, Saiyan here, $3.8 million market cap. There's not a whole lot of memes on Say yet, so you kind of got to pay attention. But Saiyan tends to perform the best. So it's a Dragon Ball Z parody. Again, a brand that's been around forever. All of us millennials and everything like that knows them. Even like older than millennials, like George, for example, he's like right after millennial and he loves Dragon Ball Z. So like it resonates well with a lot of people, but I like to look for like the winner on major layer ones that I think will have a lot of success.
Right.
Like Injective has some too that I think are going to do well, but yeah.
Been on for a little over an hour. You got a little more time?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Just want to go through a couple comments before Frank asks, what do you think about Hash AI? Any thoughts on it? You familiar?
Why don't you tell me about it and I'll tell you what I think.
So they're another like real world revenue generating AI platform. They're mining Bitcoin. They have a whole bunch of machines powered through AI or whatever, mining Bitcoin.
I am actually familiar with Hash AI. I wanted to buy a miner. I remember because I actually had Action Crypto on the show like a year ago, and that was one of the projects he brought up. And no, I actually do like it. Yeah. I never got to buy the miner or the node that I wanted to buy. I think it's a node with Hash AI, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, node.
But they were doing the pre-sale at the time, and I wanted to buy a couple, but I totally forgot. I'll have to check back in with that because it sounded super bullish back then.
Yeah, I mean, it bottomed out at whatever 000. I forget how many zeros it's got, like a one, and it tripled since. I actually think, I think it tripled off the bottom, and it's holding. It's at a good price, I think now. It's at about a $50 million market cap. I added some today. It's down on a 10% dip. It had pumped about 25% or so, and then it dipped 10%. So I added.
Nice. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. I love a good RWA play. I find RWAs like the hardest sector to like start digging for a new gem.
Yeah.
That's what yeah.
B Dubs, any thoughts on TARS AI? Are you familiar?
Are you familiar with TARS AI?
Not, I know it's on Solana. I know Ron likes it, but I don't know enough about it.
Should I pull it up?
Sure. I think it went to $150 million market cap, maybe. And it's back at a 50 or something.
Yeah, so it's at a $70 million market cap currently. It went pretty high, 315 million there. It's got some major exchange listings. You do have a max supply. I like that. I feel like I have actually heard of it before. Yeah, AI architecture. Yeah, I like things that are the base layer of emerging ecosystems, right? Because a lot of these projects, they want to do something cool and interesting, but they don't know how. So that's where they need something like this architecture play, right?
Yeah.
Apparently they have an NVIDIA partnership. I touched on something earlier that I couldn't share more about. So I questioned this because based on what I know, these are not allowed to be there yet. So that is a little bit interesting, but they could be in the NVIDIA.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of projects throw NVIDIA up if they're like using some of their tech or something, but it's not necessarily a partnership.
Right. I know Axon DAO, who I was talking about earlier, they are the only crypto project that is in the NVIDIA partner program. That is public knowledge. I can share that. So that's why I strongly question the NVIDIA partner thing, because NVIDIA is extremely against crypto projects. But since Axon DAO is in decentralized science, they were able to get them in.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, overall, like one-click agent development, that's all great stuff. AI architecture, that's great stuff. I don't see why not. And if Ron likes it, he must have some good reasons too.
The chart looks, relatively good in terms of coming off its bottom. And I think once AI sends all these, anything that's a decent project that's hung around and still grinding, I think they're going to do well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I know you love Ondo.
Yep, I do love Ondo. I didn't bring it up today because of it's the biggest RWA play. But yeah, no, I think Ondo is great. The partnerships they have working with the US government, working with the major commodities exchanges and stuff like that. It's a no-brainer. You want a blue chip.
Yeah, there we go, brother. Bullish degeneracy. We said it at the same time.
Yeah, man.
I think there are a lot of them, man, for 3-4x in the market that's coming.
Right, 3-4x is easy. 3-4x could be PopCat, it could be Bonk, it could be the big caps I mentioned. Those are the 3-4x's.
Yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of them in the coming market, man. Important question here from B-Dubs. Cashing out. What's your plan?
When you take a screenshot of your portfolio, take profits.
Yeah.
That's what I tell everybody. Honestly, though, I think that the crypto market has a lot of future left into it. There's going to be a lot of potential down the road. Ultimately, I'm going to sell off some of my riskier plays and I'm going to reinvest them into solid long-term plays. I'll take some profit out of there to, have fun with or take care of whatever. But I'm at no point in the near future do I look at getting fully out.
So you're holding on until till when? What's your signal to get out?
Till the wheels fall off, man.
Oh my God. That's bullish degeneracy, brother.
I don't think the wheels are falling off anytime soon. I think that we are at the beginning of a revolutionary emerging market. So
super cycle.
I think there's a, not necessarily super cycle, but I think there's going to be many, many super cycles to come. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think bear markets get shorter, bull markets get longer. And each cycle, we're going to have a different narrative that is emerging on blockchain.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That there will be different narratives, but I'm definitely going to be taking profits. Yeah, a couple more, then I'll let you go, brother. I know you got to go. Penguin says Pokemon is coming to Vivi. I don't think Pokemon's coming to Vivi. I mean, they've teased it for a long time. Are you familiar with Vivi?
I am.
Yeah. Do you like them or not?
I know there's a lot of Vive supporters here. I'm not bullish on Vive. I feel like they did their community really dirty. I mean,
there are a lot of people who got disappointed with them. But I don't think Vivi has the best IP. They got Marvel, they got all the Marvel comics. They have so much good IP. The issue has been with on the founder side and stuff like that. But last one, let's give it to Frank the Tank LBM. I know you know about LBM, right?
I'm actually familiar with LBM. I called it on Dirty Degens at like 600K. The first realty license for digital assets in Dubai and all that. Bullish. Dubai's embracing crypto hardcore. Yeah. Since that announcement has come out, though, there are other projects that have also gotten this license. But I feel like LBM's on the up and up, and I'm still bullish on it.
Yeah, same. Don't own it, but If I had more dry powder, I would. I lied about the last one. This is the last one. Banker coin.
Banker. I am familiar with Banker. No,
I picked
that's
some
not
up
the Banker
this week. It's Banker coin, I think, is the ticker.
Yeah. I'm familiar with it, but I'm not like, yeah, it's not the one that I'm thinking of, like BNK. Yeah, BNKR. Why is it not coming up?
Coin. It might be on CoinGecko, not on CMC.
Oh,
That might be why.
I feel like I'm definitely familiar with it though.
It's all over the timeline on Twitter. You know, you see people saying send. You can send tokens with it or whatever. It sets up trades, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't have a huge opinion, but hey, look at that chart. You can't argue.
Chart looks good. Yeah, I bought some on this recent dip. Not a ton, but
hey, if this dip works like every other dip, you bought good.
let's see how it goes. Well, Josh has been on for over an hour, man. I want to thank you for coming through for some bullish degeneracy. Thank you to everyone in the crowd. Make sure you sub to Josh's YouTube channel. I linked it in the description. Follow him on X, like, and subscribe to my channel. And we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.